if I can have Summer give me a brief rundown of what occurred last session and how he got.
I
to
don't
where we
know.
are.
I wasn't here.
He wasn't, was you? That is correct.
I'll do it.
That's hardly an excuse.
I mean, it's pretty simple. We fought slavers and lost. That was the entire session.
Yeah.
We fought
Not wrong.
slavers. We almost defeated them. Went round a corner, and there were fuck ton more slavers, and they killed us. Ish. They knocked us unconscious.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
They're all them. They're all them.
a lot more happened than that, but yeah, that's pretty much the overview.
Well, yeah.
So let me just find. Hold on, where I am.
Oh, that's way too loud. Oh, that's way too loud. Jesus Christ. Okay, right, I'll work with that. Give me a minute.
No need for that. So yeah. From last session, you facing a series of Red Fang Orc slavers, part of the swarm of burden that were left in like sporadical scouting troops, picking up any kind of remains or passerbys that they could, as they were rejected from Craghammer and made their way elsewhere. This tends to be a tactic that they use quite often when they leave one destination and find themselves in another. They kind of leave a trail of sporadically placed scouts, if you like, to try and pick up other slaves that they can then use for other means. And unfortunately for you guys, this was a party grouping, and they had been pre-warned that there was a troublesome group with a flare that was released into the sky by an arrow. You guys kind of saw, tried to be cautious about, and did react to an extent, but not knowing the full story, didn't quite do enough to be cautious in your travels. Upon your defeat, they did not kill you. Instead, they stabilized you, shackled you, bagged you, and took you to their lair. You do not know how long you'd been traveling for. And the last thing you know is waking, partially waking, in a cage where a individual was standing, a large orc with a scar on his face, and he asked his orc soldier to put you to work, with the response of, "Yes, Thordak." The next few hours consisted of you all slipping in and out of consciousness. You see blurred glimpses as this occurs of chained slaves being moved back and forth. Mostly a lot of darkness and half conversations occur. You hear things like, I miss when those undead were helping. We'd be done by now if we still had them. Another replies, yeah, keep moving, meatbags. Why are you slowing down? You old fool, pick it up. And again, falling in and out of consciousness, other conversations come to fruition. Yeah. He's 4 dark bigger than you remember. It's that masked man who's been on his case about that gateway to the far realm. Handsome. Looks like his face has been mauled off by a dog. That mask ain't fooling anyone. So, the red ones have gone to the mid-zone shift. They're in there for about 4 hours. Group 1 and 2 and 3 have gone to the north sector mine. 4 and 5 and 6 have gone to that ruin in the east sector. That clear out has also been started in the south wing. All the rations will be happening in the west foyer in about 2 hours. Construction is now waiting at the gate. We still haven't found the heart. And then you hear some other conversations of less aggressive tone individuals. Please, I'm so thirsty. You'll drink when you're done. Hey, did you see what they did with Jaffin? Shh! They'll probably with the rest of the dead down in the south wing. I heard that they've been throwing the dead bodies into the Silver Gate to get rid of the smell. All I know is the undead dropped have been causing such a stink. Quiet, or you'll get a taste of my whip. Who are the new ones? Oh, I'm not sure. The first I've seen in weeks. They don't look like your typical slaves. For starters, they have meat on their bones. And one's a half-orc. Yeah. But didn't he go to the... Yep. That's it. I warned you. After a while, and you stabilize, you stop slipping in and out of the conscious state. But Jirak, you're unsure if you're awake or if it was a dream, but you see a form of Vorduk walk up to your cage, and as he becomes clear, you see his face kind of flicker, and you see your father's face, or as you remembered your father's face being, and you wake with a cold chill down your spine. Summer, almost like an out-of-body experience, you find yourself in a city street, dark, raining, cobbled stone. A half-hooded beggar cowering on the floor, holding out dirty hands. Some people walk by, and someone passes and kicks, knocking the figure off balance. And as they hit the floor, the hood falls off, revealing 2 red horns, the face out of focus. You wake, feeling uneasy. Goplana, you walk through a large store full of books, floor to ceiling, rich mahogany wood and stained glass windows. You see your brothers and sisters enjoying each other's company in this store. The doorbell rings. As the door opens, your missing brother stands there. As the others rush to embrace, the setting seems to shift and flicker, and you see them all laying in pools of blood, and the one you saw as your brother, his form shifts, revealing Jack. You wake with a tingle of unrest. Clarence, you see a gnomish elder male in armor, a heroic-like figure standing proud with his back to you. As he turns, he's holding out a babe and responds with, "He's not like the others. Are you sure he's the one?" And a response from a darkness behind, "Only time will tell. The light or the darkness, he can only decide." And you see a beam of light as a image of the knowing mistress seems to stand and fade in an echo. And evil presence looms. Octavius, while in your cage you seem to have a time to reflect, and you seem to hear or believe that you're hearing whispering echoes. And you hear, "It's here. He'll resist. He can't. The pages will spill with ink." And as normality seems to return to you all, you have a brief moment to take note of your surroundings. You are in a large chamber that seems to have alcoves to the north, south, and west and east. And there is a series of stairs off in the distance you can see that seem to lead up. The heat down here is quite humid. There doesn't seem to be any damp. It's like a dry heat. And some of you who are familiar with being in deep caverns would probably understand that this is deeper than maybe any of you have ever been. And you hear in the distance, "Right, me bags. Time to get to work." As 6 orc slavers begin to open each of your caves. It's at this point you realise that you are all still chained in a strange fashion. Both your wrists are chained together with heavy links around each wrist and a series of maybe 3-4 links in between. Your ankles both shackled with the same concept, but there is also a thick chain that links both your wrists and your ankles downward. If you was to stand upright, your wrists would be pulled down towards your knee. You have no way of being able to raise your arms above your waist, unless of course you was to kneel down or sit. Then you would be able to of course reach your feet and your head, as the chain link would be slack. The chains also seem to give a series of vibration to them, unlike any shackles that you've maybe had sensations with before. So, if you have an itchy nose, that would be a struggle. The constant sound of beating echoes any hallways or alleys that surround this environment. So with that, I will show you what you guys see from your perspective. With some of the conversations going around, this location that you currently reside, you've heard referred to as the belly of the snake. Chamber is much bigger than you're able to see, but from your perspective and your cages, this is what you can see.
Fucking hell, he's big.
The figure that was referred to as Vordak, that is his echo of what you would have recognized him being.
Big red bastard.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
So,
I have 2 quick questions, if that's all right.
Go for it.
So, obviously, you're saying this wasn't restful by any means, and
No.
like one slot, 1 hit point. I understand that, but like in terms of like, what did we get back essentially? Because I have a desire to cast.
You have no gear, you have no equipment. You still have 1 hit point. You have 1 point of exhaustion. You have literally, you don't have any components, materials, anything. You are in your base of clothing, so anything that would be considered armor would have been removed.
Does that include my brooch?
Anything that is metallic or looks like it has any worth has been removed.
What
So
about
my
the picture?
So if you
What
have
about my
any gems, any kind of trinkets or bracelets, rings, anything like that, they are gone.
I've got a picture of a cat. Would they have taken that?
I mean, as you go to look for your picture, it's not in like your pocket, so you would imagine that it's either with the rest of your equipment, wherever that's being stored or placed, or someone has taken it.
Okay. I need to find that person.
My second question was these the gaunt-looking figures. They're not zombies, are they? They're just
not
like
zombies.
slaves.
They are just look like very malnourished slaves.
So not what we're dealing with.
Most of what you see here either looks like they are either halfling or human. There doesn't seem to be much other variation in this chamber. Maybe a half elf here and there, but it's hard to tell. They seem to be like either chained to these series of block chains, like thick, heavy chains, sporadically throughout. This is either a chamber for like almost like a holding punishment chamber, or for those that they can't have safely working without causing shortages of watchers. So they kind of let them rest here, but not necessarily rest. Or if they're people that maybe lash out and need controlling or punishing, this is probably an area that they would bring them. It's very little light down here. There are a series of braziers sporadically placed that just kind of flicker embers of light around. There are a series of what seems to be like very sketchy built like watchtowers with orc archers, like rangers, on top.
We're in a cave. How high up is the ceiling?
Probably maybe 100 foot.
Okay. So it's not like really cramped tunnels.
No.
Just it's like a big
But
fuck off.
some of the off tunnels may be more cramped, but this space is obviously a much larger cavern that they're like a chamber area that they've decided to either kit out or use for this functionality. So, first one out of their cage is Clarence. Kind of, one of them grabs and picks you up from like the base of your back, from any sort of clothing that you have on, and kind of forcefully adjusts you where they wish to place you, and speaks up to the other. Is like, which one? Where's this one going first? And the others kind of look at him. One kind of speaks up, so yeah, he looks like he could maybe help with the kitchens. Give him to the ration folk. They'll need the help. And he begins to take you off and move you into that direction.
Whilst he's carrying me, can I shout out as loud as I possibly can in front of everyone? You sick fuck! I won't suck your dick. No, I'm not going to suck. No, shut up. No.
Of course.
Thank you.
He kind of...
How did the other orcs react to that? Are they pro or against paedophilia?
At this moment in time, all you hear is the one that's holding you go.
Yeah.
And he kind of pushes you or shoves you again.
Okay, that didn't work. That was my big plan.
So first of all, I will move your token to the destination you end up in, just so you can kind of get an idea of where you go. So give me a second to do that, because I need to move everyone's names about. Little Theb. That didn't work, I don't think.
Oh, I've still got access to Summer's sheet if you want to remove that.
Oh yeah, I'll sort that out in a sec. Why can't I do that? Is it because I'm using... How about that? There we go, that's better. So you are now here. Okay, so keep what you see to yourself currently.
Okay. How do you move one of us to one screen?
You see where everyone's names is, like in who's logged in.
At the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just click on the name, drag it across to the page that you wish them to see.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The second one, who is exited from their cage is Summer. As he kind of grabs your wrist, he says, "I think this one should go to the ruin." And the others kind of look at each other and go, yeah. And you are led out. Is there anything you wish to do while this happens, or?
My legs no longer work, so I'm just gonna let him drag me.
Yeah, that's fine. He does. He's literally like one-handed, like lifting you and pushing you from behind, almost like I guess like a bratty child, like go really like limp.
6-year-old stopping in the supermarket, just legs go limp underneath him.
Yep. So I have moved you, Summer, to here. So you should also now see this place. Keep it to yourself.
Oh shit. My screen is literally just white.
It should load
You're in
up
heaven.
in a moment. Yeah, no.
No, come back! Sorry, your time.
You can have yours. I'll get you another one tomorrow. Sorry, I'm just being offered a Magnum ice cream.
Oh shit! What is this doing?
Have you got a screen now?
I've just had to refresh it because it's being arseholey.
Let me know if it comes up, and then we're good. The third to come out of the cage is you, Jirak. It takes two of them to lead you out of the cage.
Oh yeah, it does.
They kind of look at each other and like, I think we should put him to work, hard graft in the mine. And the other ones start to go, yeah. And they begin to kind of forcefully move you to the chamber.
As they say that, in Orcish, I'm going to say, if you let me mine your walls, I shall cave you all in and make this place your grave and spit on the floor, but continue.
Oh.
They don't seem to kind of respond necessarily. They kind of just chuckle.
Scared. Yeah.
Where are we? Jirak, mine. So, give me a second with your character as well.
What are these strips of chains? Are they like the tool racks?
Hold on, give me a sec.
Because they're on the other one.
Yeah. So this seems to be like almost like an anchor point that people are chained to. So where the miners are, they're linked to this anchor point. So you should now be able to see portion of page I've moved you to, which leaves let's do that. So both Octavius and Goplana now are pulled from their cage.
Lana's playing dead and has been since she woke up, didn't even open her eyes.
They pull you still and just kind of drag your body, and they say, "You're not fooling anyone, get up."
No answer.
It's fine. So they go, the conversation between them is like, only one place left. Take one to the gate and the other one can start clearing out the dead bodies. And the other one says, if she really is dead, maybe throw her in the gate. And I will move you both now. Give me a sec and I'll get your...
Would I know what the far realm is?
You know what the far... I think I would probably need a religion check, actually. I mean, you guys have it's clearly a word and a place that you've heard about. You most definitely know that this is... in conversations, given your current quest and task at hand, you know that this is the location that said betrayer god is meant to have been imprisoned.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna wake up. No, I'm fine, alive. Don't throw me in the cake. Thanks. I'll clear up bodies. It's cool.
So, you should now be in your respective locations if you can see the maps. Hopefully you can. And we'll start off with Clarence, as you was the first. So you find yourself in a chambered room. There are a series of spaced out slaves. There are two displacer beasts situated at each end of this tableless and chairless canteen style room, and a rider and two orc slavers seems to be in this area.
Just as a side note, do we know where Kegger and is it Eben?
At this moment in time, none of you do. No.
Kegger did. She ran away.
She ran, grabbed Eben, and fled. Yeah.
You recall that Jirax, asked to run, and hide. So this seems to be like a very strange place for tired or exhausted slaves to come or be placed to have a very short rest and nourishment to keep them ticking over. It's not enough to like give them like strength or keep them whatever. They're literally like keeping them to the bare minimum just to keep them tied over. And you see there is almost like a bar countertop that has like really bad badly cooked meats, a series of like kegs that seem to just be spilling out water. It doesn't look like it's clean water, and there are people manning them. And the orc that's grabbed you is forcing you and says, "Dealer's choice, wet or dry."
Wet, please.
And he pushes you over to the barrels, and he grabs the chain of the other slave and starts to walk out. On your station, you see that there are almost like very very poorly made like clay type bowls. They almost look like half coconuts, and a ladle, and each of these 4 kegs, they seem to be full with some sort of fluid. It looks to be water, but you don't know. It doesn't seem to have a strong smell or anything, and as you're now stood there, you see a series that the individuals that kind of now like placed in this room kind of like awkwardly like and shy or frightened or fearful or whatever the case may be, kind of look in your direction, and you can see actually go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Yes, sir. Perception.
Okay. You can see that there are a lot of people that seem to have quite dry lips, but they all equally look to be thirsty.
Can I kind of guess what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, am I supposed to be...
I mean, you can do it one or two ways. You can either roll your intelligence to try and work out what you're doing, or you can just go with it and do what you think you're meant to be doing.
I'm going to walk around and give everyone some water.
Okay.
All the slaves, all the thirsty slaves.
Okay.
Can I skip and hum?
You can try.
Is it with disadvantage because I've got 1 exhaustion point?
I mean, it wouldn't take a skill necessary, but you do see, you hear the rider, the same sort of equipment that the displacer riders are wearing. He kind of looks and he gives you like a grunt. But
is it an approving grunt or a disapproving grunt?
No, very disapproving.
Okay. I'm going to smile and carry on.
Which one would you like to provide water to first?
Well, I'm just going to start here and work my way around everybody.
Okay.
Is it water?
It seems to be water.
Okay.
I mean, you still don't know.
Well, I'll take a ladle to this guy.
Okay. So, just on like your sheet, can you mark a 1 down for me? Just anywhere on your sheet, and keep a note of that.
1. Just a 1.
Yep. And could you roll me a dexterity check, please?
Is this a dexterity check?
It's not a save, just a check.
Okay.
Just a flat
it's a disadvantage, isn't it? It's a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the 9.
9. Okay. Okay. So, are you going in like a clockwise direction?
Yeah. So I'm gonna draw on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. Sure. So. 1, 2.
And when I get here, can I do a medicine check? And here as well?
You can. So, the guy, the second individual that you approach with the ladle, after you give him some fluid and you attempt to leave that to provide sustenance to the next individual, and he kind of grabs your ladle.
Yeah.
And he's trying to forcefully take more than the single ladle that you provided.
Is an attack an ability check? Do I have a disadvantage on attack?
I mean, this is if you're going to try and attack him, you'd most definitely be at a disadvantage because you can't raise your hands above your waist.
Okay. So I'm gonna just kick him in the shin then.
Okay.
Oh god, I'm gonna kill him because everyone's on 1 fucking hit point, aren't they?
You're on 1 hit point. No, he is just okay. You as you kick him, he loses balance and he's not able to he's like hands down quick enough, and he actually whacks his head on the stone flooring.
Is he still alive?
He looks quite bad.
I'm gonna loud enough so that everyone else can hear. I say, "Touch me again, I'll fucking kill you." But as a child, I'd say, "Touch me again, I can kill you."
You hear like a chuckle from one of the orcs in the distance.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your medicine check. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what seems to be up with this guy. It could be hunger, it could be thirsty.
Can I just open his mouth and pour some water in it?
Go ahead.
Do I need to roll for that, or
no?
Can I just?
No, you're fine.
Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to move on to the next person.
Kind of, it goes.
Right?
You know when someone's like asleep and you try and force something in the mouth and it just kind of spills out. That's what happens.
Cool.
Yeah, you can roll me. No, you don't need to roll. So you should now have three ones marked off.
Should I just add a resource counter?
Yeah, you could, just add, just keep tallying it up on that if it helps.
So was it people, drunk, fed?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
And then I'm going to change direction. I'm actually going to go to this guy now.
Okay.
So I've decided to keep my steps up. I'm actually going to do this.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, so you go to the next one. I need you to roll me a perception check. Okay. As you approach this one, you are out of water.
Then I'll go back and refill the ladle.
Okay.
I mean, how heavy are the barrels? Can I bring a barrel with me?
The barrels are pretty heavy and you're restricted, so likelihood is you will not be able to carry one.
And I'll just keep refilling the ladle then and keep going around.
Sure. So you feed that one, so you can mark another one off, and I need you to make another dexterity check.
Okay. Do I get a sense why I need to make these dexterity checks?
So you know that there is a time limit in terms of this area because with some of the conversations that were going on through your in and out unconsciousness, you know that they were talking about rations being disputed in 4 hours. So the likelihood is that this group is not going to be here for very long, so they can start setting up for the next group. And with the way that some of these individuals look, you don't know if they're going to last very long.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to speed up.
Okay.
So I move on to the next guy and feed him some water. And then the next guy. And the next guy.
So as you leave that guy, I need you to make another dexterity save. A dexterity throw.
9.
9.
But can I retcon? As I get to here, I'm going to give a nod and a smile to the orc and say, evening, master.
He spits on you.
Thank you, master.
Okay.
How's my water?
You're getting a bit low.
I'm going to go fill it up.
Okay. With your dexterity, the water that you do have, this one again, takes the sip, and he's looks at you and is doesn't let go of your hand, doesn't reach in, but looks
Can I
at
show
you for
him?
more.
I'm going to show him the back of my hand. I'm not going to slap him. I'm just going to show it to him.
Sure. He kind of cowers a bit.
Okay. Does he let go?
No. Yep.
I'm gonna pimp slap him
with your ladle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of, as you knock him, he must have had a dislocated jaw to begin with, but his jaw kind of drops even more, and you kind of see just drool, and any water that was in his mouth to start with kind of just starts dribbling out, and tears start rolling from one of his eyes.
Can I pop his jaw back into place?
I mean, if you really want to, it would be a medicine check.
Fuck.
Okay. Yeah, so you attempt to, and as you do, you hear a click, and the individual's eyes roll into the back of his head, and he falls limp.
Ooh. How does the orc look?
kind of start. You can see him kind of like shift, like his position, and like looks over in your direction. Are you staying there, or are you?
I'm walking away quickly back to get more water.
Okay. Kind of looks at the dead body.
Can I point at one of the other slaves?
To do what? Like try and blame?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not really paying you much attention. He's more like not concerned, but he's just kind of wondering if the guy's dead or not.
Okay. I'm gonna carry on with my rounds around with the people.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go get more water.
Yep.
And then come back to this guy.
Yep.
And then this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy.
This guy, as you try to like place it to his mouth is actually closed. So even trying to try and push it in, it kind of just seems a bit difficult to do. But his eyes do like flicker and look at you.
In a good way, or
I mean, it's hard to tell. He looks half dead.
I'm going to show him the water and just say, "Come on, fella. Just take a sip."
Kind of jaw becomes a little bit slack.
I'm going to pour water in his mouth.
Okay. Just the one?
What do you mean, just the one?
So he starts to sip at it quite rapidly.
Yeah, I'm going to give him enough so that there's a portion left for the last guy.
Okay. Sure. So.
And then I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do the last guy. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Mark off the last one, and that seems to be everyone
1, 2,
watered.
3, 4. Do I get to count the guy that I killed?
Yeah, of course. For now, I mean, you still don't know if he's 100% dead, but he looks pretty dead.
So
as far as dead bodies go.
Okay.
As you give water to the last one, one of the guards turns and kind of shouts at you. He's like, "That's enough. Back to your station."
Okay. Oh, I didn't give any to this guy. Can I just point at that guy and say, "What about him? Can he have some?"
Back to your station.
Okay. Can I look at the displacer beast?
Yeah.
And just try and make a friendly face to it.
Yeah, I mean, you could try.
Yeah.
So you looking at one, you can. Are you going to try and talk with the beast? Are you?
Yeah, a small beast.
Okay.
Is it small?
No. It's large.
So it's not the same size as a squirrel or a badger?
No.
Okay.
So you kind of do like what you would normally do to small creatures, and And I
kind of rub your fingers like you got food.
Yeah. One of the tendrils kind of whips right past your face, misses you, doesn't hit you, but you know that was definitely a warning.
Okay. I'm going to give it the finger and just kind of cower around the corner.
Okay, good to know. And so we will have some.
Sorry, I'm going to feed that guy. I'm going to give him some water.
Okay. So as you approach, as you begin filling up your ladle to obviously with water, and the guard that told you to go back to your station kind of not runs, but definitely walks very rapidly in your direction. And as you begin to approach the guy behind the bar, he smacks the ladle out of your hand and he says, "I told you, back to your station."
I'm gonna look at the ground and grab my ladle and walk back.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly.
You see the individual that is behind the bar. You kind of just see the really woeful eyes, looking at you. And we'll move on to Summer. So Summer, you are in a chamber that seems to be surrounded by large broken stones that don't look like they're naturally naturally falling into place. Some of them look like they're like man-made, like carved or created. There is a displacer rider. Again, you know this from like the armament that the displacer riders donned out in the woods, and this guy here is wearing very similar armor. You see in the center of this room a large stone that seems to be shaped in a peculiar manner. There are bits of broken wood, pictures that seem to be covered with rags that seem to have been either unearthed or found, and you see a large heavy set door at the end of this chamber, and in front of this chamber seems to be a glowing like archway. And in terms of its design, it looks subtly similar to the designs you saw in Craghammer, but it seems a little off. The orc that's in this chamber says, "What are you waiting for? Start clearing the stone." And you see, like, at the surrounding areas, there is like rubble and stone that kind of is in the way or needs clearing.
I'm just gonna ignore him for now. Is that like a picture on here? Is that like something carved into it?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation. Yeah, so there is definitely a rune on this. It seems to be like an arcane symbol of sorts. There are 4 symbols on this, and you're not stupid by any means. You've definitely read books and you understand some things, and especially some arcanic things of similar nature. These are all seems to be elements. So you have earth, wind, fire, and water.
Is there like any other runes like on the walls or anything, or is it literally just this?
That's the only. I mean, there are runes on the heavy set door in the end of the room. There seems to be symbols and runes. There are much smaller runes of elemental nature. But that in terms of any kind of arcanic nature, that's probably about it as far as you can see from this stage.
Okay. What am I doing? That's not what I wanted. I'm gonna sort of make my way over this way, make it look like I'm gonna go start picking stuff up and moving stuff. But I would like, I take it this green thing is like a rag or something.
Yeah, so this
like
seems to be like a framed picture that has rag draped over it.
I would like to take the rag off.
Okay. You see an image of like a stronghold backdrop. It does look very much like Tal'Dorei. In fact, there is, in the distance of this image, you can see the mountain where Craghammer is situated, but it's in the far distance of this image. And in the front of this image, you see almost like a ritual kind of image there is an individual that looks to be some sort of spell caster, and he is surrounded by elementals, and it seems that he's trying to draw energy from these elementals.
I'm just gonna sort of talk to this guy as I'm like picking stuff up and just sort of say, so getting a lot of hints about the elements.
He looks at you and says, "No one's asked you to talk. Shut up," and spits in your face.
Oh, excuse me. That's fucking rude. I'm gonna carry on talking, just sort of. So you're a fan of animals, then?
He turns around and you see, like, you know, where the surroundings, there's like all sorts of rubble and crap that seems to be found or unearthed, and you see him start to tear like a really dirty, dusty rag, and he balls it up in his fist, and starts heading towards you.
Oh, no. I'm going to sort of slowly start, like, dodging away because I don't want that to go where I think it's going to go.
He smiles as you kind of back away and he says, "I think we understand each other. Now shut up and clear the stone."
This guy's a bit of a dick.
Okay, so we will move on to Jirak.
Hello.
So Jirak, you are in a very long tunnel. It goes on much further than what you are able to perceive at this distance, but you can hear constant like a scraping of dirt. But in terms of how many individuals there are here, you could, like, some of them are in like groups of 2s or 3s or so on. There's only maybe, like, in each group there is like one person that has a pickaxe. They all look very badly made, and the other individuals with them seems to be clearing the stone away, and they, in this chamber, there a series of boxes which either seems to be equipment or pick heads that they can replace shafts or pummels with to keep the churning around of this mining operation. But you also notice there are this similar but much smaller, much less dense population of this white crystal-like stone. This white crystal stone doesn't seem to glow like the ones that you encountered with the heart, but when you took the heart away, this is the type of stone that was left in its stead.
Okay. I'm assuming they're going to like take me to a spot.
Yep. So
I'm just going to wander around.
Yeah, they take you. So they actually take you through the rest of the chamber before you meet your destination. So I will unearth the rest. If you give me a moment. And you actually end up at the end here. You end up with this group here. There's like almost like a catch chain that is attached to your ankles, And the orc that takes you here says, "Help move the stones."
I'm going to look at the pile of stones and look at the wall and say, I think you'd be better off having me mine the wall.
Whatever, get the work done. And you see the two slaves kind of look at you. They are filthy, extremely gaunt. There is one male human and one female half-elf.
I'm going to nod to them and sort of not barge past, but allow me kind of. I will pretend to not be very good at this, so that you can maybe give your fingernails a break. And I'm going to mine specifically at that white crystal. Sure. And after going for, I imagine, a while, it's not going to be easy work. I'm going to try and say to them, out of the corner of my mouth, what is this stuff? Clang, clang.
So, give me a second, and I will the dialogue. Oh, give me a second. I can't seem to find a bloody dialogue that I wrote for them. Okay, so one of them, the male, says, keep your voice down, we're not meant to talk. They're calling this stuff Jasmine. They've just told us to mine for it. They're really quite pushy, though.
Yeah, slavers tend to be. No, I don't want to talk for an extended period of time, so I'll then mine for a bit longer.
Sure.
And then ask, how long have you been here?
Longer than I think. Longer than we care to remember. I can't remember when we saw sunlight being down here. Few months, but there wasn't as many. They tried to take some to Crackhammer, but they returned. You're a half-orc, aren't you?
What of it? Does it look like I'm being treated like a half-slave or a half-slaver?
Not yet. Give it time.
Is there precedent for a half-orc being treated better?
Only one. And as he says this, you hear a, "Quiet over there, or you'll get my whip."
I mutter under my breath, "You'd like that, wouldn't you?" But I don't say it loud enough for anyone to hear. I say, well, hopefully I don't go the same way as them if I'm picking up what you're putting down. I don't exactly want to be promoted.
That's what the last one said. And he continues like moving the stone.
Jarek pretends not to be insulted that he's being lumped in with just like another half-orc, but also he's like, both my parents were half-orcs. That's something to think about. And my mum was jacked as fuck, so maybe she got promoted. But then he's thinking, like, sort of internal monologue, like, but there's no way, like, that my parents would become slavers. They probably just got like sent to another place because they're like sent to the fighting pits kind of thing. Like if you have a strong miner, you send them to the gladiatorial arena because they make better money there or whatever. But otherwise, I won't do like an incredible job, but I will mine at a approximately average pace,
Sure.
so as to keep them satisfied, but not actually try and help as little as possible.
Is there any more talking or questions going on? Are you looking or perceiving anything else before I move?
I want to like, as I was walking down, I assumed it was kind of like a new guy in prison scene where they're walking down the middle and you like check out every single person I'm walking past.
Again, a high density of humans with some halflings and maybe one or two elves, like half elves.
I'm gonna just like let my eyes linger on the halflings, and try and like peep if they look like nerds. It's the best way I can describe it.
Sure, I got you. Go ahead and
I don't know
roll.
whether to be insulted.
I was going to say bookish, but I think that's a bit too on the nose.
First of all, let's have a perception just to see how well you can perceive, and then we'll follow up with an investigation to see, because you're looking for something in particular about an individual. So
you would have probably known that their name was Marek as well.
That's
right. Write that down. So, thanks to my new proficiency bonus upgrade, my perception is now plus 11. Look at that. Can't wait to get my first 30. Okay, so with disadvantages
you
at 21 now.
Successfully see the number of halflings in the area in this vicinity. You can go ahead and roll me an investigation to see if you can find out if any of them seem a bit more book-worthy.
An indoors kid. Ooh, 10.
There's like maybe it's hard because you've in your travels you've met halflings. They all kind of have that like book read kind of feel vibe about them. Apart from
you can say they're small. Don't worry. You're allowed to say that they're small.
I'm sure. Thank you. My mum's 4 foot something, so.
Legally speaking, she might be classified as a midget. Just a fun fact.
Is that
4
right?
foot 5. 4 foot 5 is
should
the
we tell
boundary,
Mum that, Summer? You see that there are a couple that maybe look like they are of that kind of genre of individuals.
Okay. I'm gonna take
one
in like
still has like a series of glasses on, but they've got like a massive crack down one of the lenses, and they've obviously like tried fixing the two parts together where it's snapped.
Okay, I'm going to like take stock of like hair color, as you say, glasses, like if they've got facial hair or whatever, and approximate appearance. Obviously, it's not going to be a great look because they're covered in dirt and malnourished and everything, but just so I can ask questions later.
Yeah, of course.
Try and commit them to memory. And I mean, after the conversation I had with, after the interruption from the Orc Watchman, do I get the opportunity to speak to the people I'm with anymore, or
it's up to you. If you wish to talk to them, then you can try.
Okay, let me think.
This was one of those kind of moments that you kind of have the standing to either be cautious or whatever the case may be. But you this time is about you learning, like, this place, the people in it, what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them. Where do they take this stuff? If it's you that has to take it. Again, trying to make it as I like time when I'm talking with like as I hit the wall, so the noise might shroud it or something.
At the moment that they've stopped taking the stone away, they're after something in particular.
They told you what it looks like?
They only said we'd know when we see it. But
something bad.
Some of the conversations that go through the chambers, we hear them asking for the heart of Jasmal.
So it's going to be a big one of these then. Okay. Where are you from?
Iman.
Do you know if everyone here's from Iman?
There's a handful of us, but we weren't in Amon when we were taken.
So everyone here was taken from all over the place?
Pretty much.
Jefferson,
And with that you hear I've told you before, Scrat. And he kind of like grabs the one that's talking to you, throws him against the wall, and you kind of, as he hits the wall, you see blood like against the stone. And
I'm gonna like immediately step up. So, your problem's with me, and get in the way.
Kind of grabs you by the scruff, and is like, "Don't tempt me, halfling."
I tilt my chin like up towards him, like, almost like I'm looking down my nose at him, and I like bare my tusks.
Your time will come. I'm sure Vordok's got much work for you. And he kind of like shoves you. You kind of lose your footing a little bit, given your weakened state.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of turns and goes back to his post.
Yeah.
And looks at some of the others. You kind of hear like
until
a whip cracking like down the way. He's like, "What you looking at?"
After he's I wait until he gets back to his post before I turn around, so as to never show my back, and I am then going to like lean down and see if that person who was attacked is like okay.
They're still conscious. They kind of look at you for like, he doesn't say thank you, but you can tell that he kind of appreciates that you've helped him up, and you kind of try to stand up for yourself. And he's like, maybe we should just get back to work.
I'm sorry, friend. And I nod. And if I don't know if I can, but I would try to cast Cure Wounds and just like make it a bit better. But I don't know if I have the spell slots or anything.
What does it take in order to cast the
verbal
spell?
And somatic?
So your
verbal
hands,
being Urmakog.
But your somatic gestures are your hands, right?
Yeah, I have to, do the magic finger release.
That would probably be really restricted. Go ahead and cast the spell. How much? What is it that? Is it like 1d6, 1d4? What is it?
1d8 plus 3. I'm only going to cast it at first level.
So it would be. I would say, given the restriction, you're able to just about cast it, but you can only give half of what it is. So instead of 4, it'd be 2.
Okay, yeah. As long as they're
yeah.
As long as they know that I'm trying to.
You can kind of see like the wound that was created, kind of like instead of being open like damp blood, it kind of like coagulates and like heals over a little bit like a scab.
Just like it's like watching a time lapse of a wound heal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nod and then get back to work, and I will not ask any more questions.
Okay. So that will move us on to the dream team at the gate. So both Goplana and Octavius, you enter a chamber. It's quite dense in terms of what is here. There are many dead bodies, thick in crimson, like ichor that's clearly been decaying over time. The smell here is horrific. So as soon as you enter here, I do need you both to make constitution checks. Saving throws, sorry. Saving throws. Okay. The smell is very bad. You can feel like that retch from your stomach, but this isn't the first time that you've been in situations like this. You just about manage to hold down the urge to be sick. But you see that there are a series of slaves that kind of like dragging bodies, and they seem to be dragging them into like another area of this space, further up towards this way. The orc that brings you here says, "Follow the others, move the bodies. It fucking stinks down here." And he begins to walk away.
I collapse to my knees and start weeping.
Okay. The first thing you will notice about this little area is that there are no guards right here.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna reach down, pat Octavius on the back, just like trying to be sympathetic, and just say, "It's gonna be all right. We're gonna get out of this, all right?" And I'm going to healing word as I do that.
Okay. Is that somatic as well?
Just verbal.
So, just verbal. Wonderful. Okay.
And I'll do that at level 2. Yeah. 8 points of healing.
Okay.
I'm also gonna do the same to myself at level 2 and just be like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. Oh, lovely. I'm also gonna act like I'm still horrendously low on health points anyway.
Okay.
I'll
have a. I mean, you are, but I will have a performance check just to see how well you pull that off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you are injured. You're still certainly low on health. So, yeah. Cool. Wonderful.
Cool. I'm going to just pat him on the back and say, I'm going to work out a plan. It's going to be fine. I'm going to grab a body. I'm going to see what this gate is, and I'll be back. All right? And I'm going to go and pick up a body and just make sure that none of them are my brother. Okay. And I'm going to keep an eye out for half-orcs as well.
So, first of all, I need you to do a perception to see how well you can perceive this environment, followed up by an investigation check. Okay, I would say, yeah, go ahead. You can roll a flat investigation, so no hindrance there. Okay. You do come across, as you kind of search through bodies and you're almost like acting out like you're trying to find the best body to find to move, or like the most, like the one that's causing the smell, if that makes sense. You're kind of like rummaging through, going, not that one, maybe not this one, that one's too heavy for me, kind of thing.
Looking for like dirty blonde hair.
Yep.
Nose.
You don't see anything familiar, but I mean, in terms of colorings, skin, or anything like that, a lot of these bodies are heavily decayed, and they are covered in claret. But that being said, you do see, in the midst of all this carnage, decay, and death, a very small, like, glint of something. And as you, like, reach for it and pull it, it's a trinket of sorts. And it's very familiar. In fact, you made this trinket. It was one of the first druid craft type things that you created. And as you're leaning over, a gut-wrenching sensation fills, like, your stomach. You feel sick, even with the smell that's going on, that void of this place right now. You feel so weak, you fall to your knees. Uncontrollable sobbing begins to kind of, that sensation when you're like holding it in, but your heart is breaking inside with the devastation, the realization that Merrick could be, or is, dead.
Okay.
That is until you hear a
I'm moving the bodies to see if I can find them.
No, it's not coming from the bodies.
From behind me?
From behind you, and you hear Lana?
I'm moving straight over and pulling him close, not letting go for as long as I can possibly can.
You see your brother stood there, one of the slaves that's moving these bodies. What are you doing here? You can't be here.
I am. And I'm going to get us out of here, alright? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
There is no way. There's no hope. There's nothing.
There is. It's going to be alright. I'm going to tie on the necklace back around his neck tightly, and I'm going to kiss him on the head and say,
I mean, that's done very awkwardly given your current circumstances.
That's fine. That's going to do as much as I can, and then I'm going to...
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to kiss on forehead and then pick up a body. I don't care what they're like. I don't care if they're bloody,
as you kiss your brother, as you kiss Merrick, you hear a very familiar tone of voice. Well, isn't this lovely?
I'm going to murder him.
Just when I thought that you were somewhere else and you turn up here. This is great. This is fantastic. I knew you could do it, hero. But guess what? You've just shown me one weakness. And surprisingly to me, it was someone I was already after. This must be your little bro. And he kind of grabs him and starts like giving him like a nuggies, like on his head, like ruffles his hair. And there are two other orc slaves with him. Somatic probably won't help.
I don't care. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're even with like a half. That's probably not really going to do anything. Sorry. You're so restricted to your movements that you probably couldn't pull off something as intricate as this. You kind of see a few. Cause is it like inflicts disease, blah blah blah. It's like you see like the glow of like you trying to cast it, but it literally just like fails. And you see like the really cocky kind of undersmirk of this masked like individual that you know as Jack. And he says, well, looks like little bro here, he can read. And he's really good at it. In fact, he's found some wonderful books. He's such a soldier.
Let go of him and I'll do anything you want.
Oh.
Anything.
Oh, as tempting as that may be, I need him. He's going to help me.
I hate you. Whatever that was, that
He's
that
going
was
to
accidental.
help.
I probably.
He's going to help me wake the Cerberus. And he's also going to help me open the gate to the far realm.
No. Wouldn't you prefer someone with actual powers that can do that?
No, this is more fun. And he kind of turns and takes him and leads out of this chamber. And you see beyond like the guards that are there and beyond him, you can see the individual orc with the scar on his face. And he says, is there anything else you need, Jack? Well, if she's here, so are her friends. I think maybe you've got unfinished business with them. But I won't spoil the surprise. I'll let you work it out for yourself. And he begins to walk off. And you can see like a shimmer of silver like mist as he kind of like emerges into it and then vanishes from sight. The guards say, what are you waiting for? Move them bodies.
I'd like the orc to make a constitution save, please.
Poison spray?
Mm-hmm.
Does it require any components?
No.
Okay.
I've got a list of what I can cast at the moment.
Okay. Where does it come out from?
My hand, 10 foot away from me, pointed.
Okay. I have to pull up a card now. These are the orcs at the gate, yeah?
The orc that just said something to me.
Okay, so yeah, one right by there. So as he says this, and you poison spray, that splashes him in his face. You can see him, and the other one, like pummels you with the back of his axe for 8 points of bludgeoning.
That's fine. Can I grab his ankle on the way out?
Not really. Well, I mean, you would have to be able to grab an ankle. I'm not sure if I explained it enough or well enough, but your hands, like if you was to stand upright, you've literally got no slack between your ankles and your hands, and your wrists.
I'd imagine
your
if I
wrists
move my
touch.
legs up.
And you can't raise both legs at the same time. You can kind of shuffle like a penguin, or you can
lift them up if I'm lying on the floor.
If you're on the floor, you can kind of put your wrists to your ankles, and that would give your elbows enough slack to bend, and you could probably touch your head, and that'd be as far as you could reach. So
Okay.
you find yourself on the floor. One of them's like seriously acid burning, poison spray, whatever, all over his face. Looks green. He's very unhappy. He kind of leans against the wall. The other one kind of just gives him the side eye and sort of almost like that, just man up kind of look. But you are still in this room full of bodies, and the slaves here are still moving bodies.
Octavius has resigned himself to this fate and is moving bodies.
Okay.
Though, if I also want to try and find some pebbles, just some small stones, and slip them into my pocket.
Okay, go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check, please.
Is that normal roll or disadvantage?
You do have a point of exhaustion, so... And given the fact that you're restricted, it would probably be a disadvantage. Yeah. You kind of pick up a stone. In fact, I will roll for him to see if he would notice or not. His perception. Oh, he rolled a 9, so I will say you managed to get a pebble in your pocket, and no one says anything. So you think you got away with it. But over the next few moments of being in this space, you begin to follow the rest of the group with the dead body, and you come to a very peculiar cavern, maybe intriguing to you, that looks like this. Made up of this white stone, like crystal stone, that seems to be in the walls within this whole structure area that you're in. But there seems to be like a gap in the very like top where the keystone resides. There seems to be like a gap for something to be placed. But at the moment there seems to be this swirling grey, almost silver-like essence. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me, please. I mean, you don't know too much about it, but you do know that this kind of effect or residual like essence is that is often identified with being part of the ethereal plane.
Okay.
Okay. A few hours pass for you all.
Nick.
Yep.
Can I ask the orcs what go in the slot at the top? What are they?
As soon as you try to talk to one of the orcs, they turn to you and say, "Keep your mouth shut," spit in your face.
Would I? Is it as big as any of the things that we found so far?
Yeah.
And would I know what that gem was?
I mean, given your knowledge and what you learned of the stone last time, you do know that the heart of Justmal can be constructed to create a gateway to the far realm. Without the heart of Justmal, regular Justmal open a gate to the ethereal plane.
Okay. Thank you.
So, I will say, given your time here, you move, say, half a dozen bodies. The guards come in and say, "Time for rations and rest. Get them back to their cells." And they start to drag you back, each of you, back to the... actually, you all go to the same room. Sorry. Go here to the dining room. And this happens for you all. You'll get told that it's now time to move on. For rations, blah blah blah. Oh, 1 second. Where are you? There. That being said, I also need to move these out. Should have left him in there actually. Let's put him right here. And right here. Characters. So you all get transported and moved to another location. Why is that not well? It did. Which seems to be like a canteen type thing, an area where there is beverages and minimal beverage and minimal food provided. In this room, you do see Clarence, who is stood quietly over by one of the water stations. It would seem the room chamber is empty at this stage, and they're seeing, apart from two bodies that seem to be limp in this room. On your way to this room, you do hear from one of the chambers a roar, and you do see 3 orcs trying to pull and chained up pull a very angry, a very upset Kegger, and you hear one of them say, "Why are we bringing this anyway?" And the other's like, "Well, take him to the master trainer, we can train him up." And one of them also seems to be holding a limp, purplish, kind of iridescent looking ebon.
That's fucking bullshit.
Who am I tied to at the moment?
At the moment, you're just being moved, so you're only tied to yourself.
Where's Kega?
You don't know. All you heard was the chains being pulled and a very angry roar of a mountain lion. You can only...
Can I see Eben?
You were able to see Eben, yes.
Yep. Can I do a fucking runner after the person who's got
You cannot
Eben?
run. You cannot run.
Can I hop very quickly?
You can try and hop.
Yeah.
As soon as you attempt to hop, one of the guards grabs you.
I'm gonna try and bite him.
Okay.
I'm going to tackle the guard that's grabbed her.
I mean, again, any kind of restraint from the direction you're being pulled will just result in the guards pulling you back in line. But if you want to try and give it a go, of course.
Mm-hmm. As, like hearing the roar and seeing Summer like go to run, I'm like, okay, she's got a plan, and I'm gonna try and at least get her freed.
Okay. I mean, the sound and the sights are quite far off in the distance. It would take you quite a while to get there, given your current circumstances. But if you're trying to hop, the guy grabs you and stops you from hopping. If you're going to try and bite him, it'd be a disadvantage, and it'll be just a bite attack, I guess. Unarmed strike of sorts.
Should I just do an unarmed thingy?
It'd be a disadvantage, yeah.
Let me just take off my extra damage, because I'm assuming... Well, I've used my face, so I don't need it.
What's your strength stat? Just your bonus?
+3.
So it'd just be 3. Yeah, no, you didn't succeed anyway. You attempt to tackle the guy that she's biting. Is that Jirak?
Whoever she is trying to get herself free from, I'm intending to assist.
Okay. So
that was a very weird noise.
Sorry.
She only attacked the guy that grabbed her. She didn't try to escape. She was trying to escape before he grabbed her.
Oh, I'm still trying to like shimmy him off.
But you didn't bite him, so that's not, you're just wriggling, chained up on the floor currently.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So I can just imagine like a like a tree stump version of Jirak hopping over and trying to flop on top of the individual that's grabbed hold of Summer. As soon as you do this, Jirak, another guard grabs you. There's now like essentially a shark pile on the floor of what would you like to do?
Oh, I'm gonna spit in this guy's eye, or attempt to.
I mean, your attack failed first time, but you can try again.
I mean, I just want to get my saliva all over his eye.
Okay.
Try and blind him with my spit. What am I doing? Just the same thing I did before?
Mm-hmm.
With that one.
No. So you go to spit. You know when you spit awkwardly and it kind of gets you, like it goes in your eye instead, like goes on your own face and in your eye. Yeah. So this is clearly a very awkward moment for you each. But the guards kind of pull you back in line and say, "Enough of this. Get in there." And they like chuck you to the ground in this food court, if you like, area. So, what would you like to do here? They kind of move you to like respective positions.
Have an idea for what I'm gonna do in my free time. So while well, I assume we're not gonna give. Actually, tell you what, continue racing. When we get given cutlery or not, then I will make my decision.
It doesn't look like there is any cutlery apart from over in the corner. You can see a very upset, very bored now. Clarence holding a ladle.
I'm going to. There's like rocks on the ground, right?
I mean, there's like pebbles and rocks.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, just need a pebble. Just need a pebble. I am going to like pick up a little pebble and just start like scribbling on my handcuffs, like tiny little movements. Not enough to make any noise. Not enough to.
Okay, that'll be
my very best.
And check them, please. You seem to have got away with it so far. Doesn't seem to be anyone responding to your actions.
Cool. I'm scribbling a little marker down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send a picture of it when I can find one.
Okay.
I won't be finished anytime soon, I think, but
no. As you're working on this, like the time it takes for you to do this seems to take a little bit longer than it would for like the type of metal that you seem to be chained up with. It takes longer than you'd expect it to actually make the mark, but
if it does, then I'm gonna try and like make it'll be a bit messier, but try and make a mark on like whatever rags with, like, I assume it's just like our underclothes.
Okay.
I'll try and like scribble the same mark, like maybe on the sole of my boot or something.
Yeah.
So I can look like cross-legged or whatever.
No worries.
And it's relatively stealthy.
So while you're in this kind of zone, an individual kind of comes round and has like very dried, like cooked meat. It almost looks like it's been partially cooked and left on the side for like a week. So it's like very dry, but it's like little bits of like cut meat. It comes around, hands as well, rags over the hands and kind of feeds first of all to you, Goplana.
I'm not taking anything.
You're not taking. This is a slave. It's not an orc or anything.
No.
No. Okay. And then obviously goes to you, Octavius. Do you eat?
Yeah.
Okay. Just I need to make a mental note that you have. Summer, do you eat?
No.
Okay. And Jirak, do you eat?
Absent-mindedly, but yes.
Okay.
I'll like get given the food and like pick at it every like 30 seconds when I remember that it's there.
Okay. Clarence says the group enter. You're now placed into a respective position and replaced with someone. Are you fine with that? Do you go ahead with that? You may be muted.
Yes, I consent.
Okay. The individual comes to try and feed you some meat. Do you eat?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it look tasty?
Not really.
I still eat it.
Okay. You go. The individual goes back to their stand. Another individual comes round with a ladle of water, or what appears to be water in this circumstance. You still don't know. Do you each drink?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
will
drink.
not.
Okay. For those of you that drink, for those of you that eat, you can add 5 hit points.
Love it.
You can't change your mind, by the way.
Yeah, no. Can I also do something while everyone's like eating and drinking?
Let's deal with this first, and we can come to that.
No.
For those of you that drink, if you didn't eat, then you can add 1 hit point. If you did eat, you can add 3 hit points. And for each of you that did eat and drink both, I need you to roll Constitution saving throws.
Is this against poison?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Awesome.
It's not actual poison, it's more food poison, but...
Okay, yeah. Food
Oh.
poisoning.
That shouldn't have been disadvantaged, but it
15.
doesn't matter.
It's fine. Okay. Anyone sub 10 fail,
Yay!
throw up. I will say...
Do I lose the hit points?
You do. You lose 1 hit point.
Can I eat the vomit?
If you really want to, that's really up to you. You won't gain anything from it.
Oh, okay. I'll still do it.
Just for fun.
I mean, I'm guessing I'm really hungry at this point. So
it's good roughage.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten for one day. How hungry can you be?
Sorry, Summer, you said you wished to do something while this was going on.
I just want to attempt to rile up these two these two displacer beasts.
The large displacer beasts that are like hovering. You can see their forms like displaced slightly. They seem to be swaying from side to side.
Just like without them knowing that it's actually me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to like cast. Oh, I never know how to fucking say it. Thaumaturgy. That one. I'm like literally right underneath them and make the ground.
Is there any components or anything? Is it literally just happens?
Just verbal, but I'm sort of like gonna move my face so that I'm doing it into my arm or like into my shoulder.
Fine. And what is it you're attempting to do?
I want to get like the ground to tremor underneath them.
Okay. Okay. I mean, they kind of, you see them it's almost like a glitch. Like they kind of like, where they're displacing, it almost like pauses. Like it's almost interfering with the displacement subtly. Not long enough, but a little.
I am going to try and collect more pebbles.
Okay, sleight hand check as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So as you kind of rummage in the dirt, one of the guards kind of, yeah, what you doing? Stop messing around. Comes over, gives you a shove, and kind of like looks to inspect. It's like, you like collecting stones? Put it down.
Yeah, I put it down.
Okay. Okay. So after a while, again, unless any of you decide you're trying to do something, they move you on back to your cell. So I need to
oh, puppy.
Move all into that. There. So. Given that you've passed through this area now, I will reveal much more of this zone, because you now have each of you have now gone into different areas of this mine cave system. So, from where you was led to both Octavius and Goplana, you see come from that room, and you don't recall this individual being in this room when you was moved out, but you see a hooded individual about 6 foot or so. They're hooded. You can't see their face much. They seem to be carrying a large sword and a large axe. They have like reddish type armor underneath the cowl, and they have. Go ahead. First of all, go ahead and roll me a perception check. See if you will notice this last piece. Octavius doesn't, but Lana, you do notice that there seems to be a subtle green hint to the skin of this individual as they walk from the gate room towards Vodok.
I'm going to murmur under my breath, Tyler, and see if I can get any reply. Or anyone looking at me.
No, it doesn't seem to
when I
respond.
hear the word Tyler. He's come to save me.
And Dirac looks around, and every single orc that's in this room starts to look like Tyler.
I sort of like stop and I'm just going to literally turn and face the wall.
One of them turns around, just gives you a thumbs up.
I would never
But
give me a thumbs
this
up.
individual goes over to Vordog and says something. It's relatively murmurs, but you can make out a very subtle. There's another one. I'll get rid of it. And he turns and heads back to the gated room. So, each of you succumb. If there's any one of you will want to try and stay awake for moments or anything else like that, please let me know. If you don't, then you do go for a long rest.
I'm going to
I
prop
need
myself up
sure.
in the very, very back corner, like up against the wall to Lana's cell.
Those of you now, if you have had any sustenance in the foodery, you can expend 2 hit points if you choose to regain hit points.
Give me a hit die.
Sorry?
Do you mean expend 2 hit dice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're allowed to use 2 hit dice to regain hit points. If you did not eat, you can roll 1 hit dice and half the outcome to regain your hit points. That's nice. Oh, there's another one.
Damn.
Damn.
Back at full health.
Damn, Octavius. I like the fact that both of them were Octavius, both of them were crits.
I mean, a little bit of luck coming my way.
That's good. That's good. Nice. Okay. Is there anything you wish to do in this time frame?
I want to have a look around and see if I can see any pile of books, any of my belongings, but mostly books.
Yep. Sure. Go ahead and roll me a perception.
Oh, I see nothing.
Yeah. Literally, all you see is dirt, stone, rubble. Yeah, literally.
Then I will curl up in the corner, facing away from everyone.
Okay. Is there anyone else doing anything?
As I said, I'm going to prop myself up like in the back corner of my cell.
Yep.
And like try and like knock on the very subtly on the cage wall to try and get Lana to come over to me.
Okay.
I'll move over.
I assume your day was about as bad as mine.
She's gonna laugh. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know what they're after.
Right.
They're after the heart of fucking rock stuff. It's all, and I'm gonna motion to, like, I can see it on the map here, like where it's, you know, poking out of the walls and shit. So they're looking after the heart of that shit. Apparently they were mining for it for a while, but they've given up mining for the normal stuff, and they are after one thing in particular.
And they want that. We.
Is it the one we have?
I think we might. If we. Oh. How. How selfish do you think it would be to offer it in exchange for something?
It depends what happens if they get their hands on it.
There's a gate downstairs, and they're throwing bodies into it. It looks like it goes into a different plane.
There are literally no good planes other than this one, and this one's not great. My guess is they're going to be feeding something on the other side, and I don't fancy letting them get any better at it, shall we say. But again, if what you get in exchange is something worth it, I'd leave it in your capable hands.
They're not. If they had your family, would you do it?
Jirak takes a bit too long to answer and says, I don't know.
But you do.
I haven't seen my family in 10 years. I don't know the name of my sister. I could have met her and not known. So I can't say, because I'm gonna guess, context clues, that whatever is being offered is your brother. I looked for him. He wasn't in the mines, I don't think.
I found him.
Oh shit.
And Jack took him.
He's here?
He was. I'm going to take him. I'm going to break his back so he's paralyzed, and I'm going to grind every bone in his body slowly and as painfully as I grind each one to dust. I'm going to keep him alive as long as I do, and I'm going to set his hair on fire, carve off whatever's left of his face, and then I'm going to put him in a hole in the middle of a crossroads so his spirit is always unresting. I'm going to set it on fire so there's nothing but ash. And then I'm going to write a gravestone and write on it in Comic Sans, I'm going to kill him.
I assumed that you were going to kill him from your description of what you were going to do to him. I don't think anyone could handle that, and definitely not a bitch as bitchy as him.
Yes.
Well, I think for now, this is going to have to be the most I can do to try and help, and I'm going to like sort of go cross-legged a little bit and show on the bottom of my boot like the mark that I've carved in when it comes to doing something about it, I can pop these and then start making a mess. But until then, I think we're just gonna have to wait. It takes every fibre of my being not to just try and tear the throat out of that fucking Vordok cunt every time I see him, but I've learned from a close personal friend of mine that maybe patience is probably better than going in all guns blazing. I don't know what a gun is. all
I don't know what comic sounds
crossbows,
is either.
all crossbows,
Yeah, crossbows blazing.
pachinking, I guess.
Yeah.
At least we got through the first day in one piece. It's a good sign.
Yeah. Nick, do we get our spell slots back at the end of the day after a long rest?
You get your you can have heart. Oh wait, did you eat? Do you have sustenance?
No.
No. You how many spells do you have available to you at level 1?
I've got all my level 1s.
Okay. How many spell slots have you expended?
2, 5, 6.
Roll me 1d6. You get 1.
What if I ate?
You ate, so you've had sustenance. How many expended spell slots have you got?
5.
So roll me 1d5, 1d6. Around up, why not? You can have. Yeah, you can have the 5. You've eaten, so.
And drank and didn't throw up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recommend to Lana that you do eat. You're no use to anyone dead.
At the moment, I'm not used to anyone alive.
At the moment. What do they say? Death is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Which is quite the opposite of what we deal in.
Very true.
Very out of character for us to to die in a hunger strike.
Right. What's our plan?
I'm going to well, for one, do you know Goodberry as a spell?
I do, but I need material for that.
What do you need?
A sprig of mistletoe.
I look around and say, I look up and go, sorry, no kisses today. And I think you might be out of luck for that. Well,
it will be. Hang on. Create the next. No. I wonder if there's. Is there a spell that lets me grow things?
plant growth. Pretty self-explanatory name-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know what level it is, but
into the immediate area, specific area, so I wouldn't get any mistletoe anyway. Shit.
I can learn Goodberry as well, but again, same problem.
Both of us are useless in that. That's my first thought.
Well, create food and water.
So we
think that's cleric only, isn't it? I'm gonna guess. While we're having this conversation, I'm gonna spend a stealth. Oh wait, shit! No, I don't think I can. 1 sec. I'm just gonna double check my how my this thing works. No. 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 I was trying to see if I could like detect Kegger, but I think that's only a thing that I could do on my last, like the old ranger. So I know that I heard her. She didn't sound happy, but
Get her out.
at least she didn't do the deed. That's very poor wording.
It really was.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
really hope they didn't do that.
I think we continue for a few days. We gather our strength.
Oh,
And we.
if you see any bloodhounds, can you like take a bit there? Can you turn into a bloodhound?
Oh my god. Can I turn into a mouse?
Does it require any components?
It's magical, but it's because it's technically not a spell, right?
Hang on. Oh, please. Wild shape. I can go.
Okay, what do you turn into?
I'm not nothing yet.
Okay.
I'm just if I can get a bit of the fur of a bloodhound, I can try and find Kegger and Eben. And if we do need to just bug it and run, I'll greatly appreciate the ability to find them on the way out.
Jarak, what languages do you understand?
I, a very learned man. Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Giant, Infernal, and Orcish. I speak the Infernal? What the fuck? Well,
that's really helpful when I speak Sylvian. Helpful.
That could be helpful in case you need to speak to any Fae.
Yeah, not helpful here. I'm going to murmur under my breath so no one around me can hear me except for Jarak, and I'm going to say, I'm going to Bilbo Baggins this shit. Oh my god, I can turn into a fly. And
Not a bad idea. Just go straight up.
I'll find our stuff.
I'm just going to nod.
Oh, fuck.
Right, let me see if Sirenscape has Mission Impossible music.
And we're level 9 now, right?
That's right.
So we can stay in it for... how long can I stay in it for?
While you're establishing that, if that's the conversation to go on, for the rest of you, I mean, time does go. Hours pass. There is a constant flow of orc guard that seem to move around in shifts. To the point where another 6 orcs approach your cages and start hitting your cage. Wake up, you scabs. Time to work. So, the first out of the cell will be Jirak. Jirak, you are led. There's not much communication this time to where you're going. It's almost like they pre-planned where you're heading. And they move you to here. I need to move Goblana out.
Oh my lord. That's a lot of red.
There. And the guard pushes you forward and says, "Move the bodies," and begins to walk away. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm. Immediately, projectile vomiting across the room.
Yeah, but it's strange because, like, the smell of it, you throw up. It's the sight of it that intrigues you.
Fuck.
I need you to make another Wisdom save.
The fucking spear comes down the corridor.
See, I really don't want to left click at the moment. I just wanted to see if there's anything I can do to stop this from happening.
The Wisdom throw is the thing you can do.
Fuck me. Okay, come on. Come on, baby. Rocks me tonight. Okay, 14. 21 if I have advantage.
I would say you kind of salivate at the idea, but there's like this other little miniature winged version of Jirak on your shoulder is like shakes his head, and you kind of fight the urge to get tucked in, so to speak.
I'm gonna do a bit of Foley work 1 sec. I'm gonna slap myself in the face, just left and right, shake my head a bit, and like wake myself up, and look around like the other slaves here, see if where they're taking the bodies. I assume they're throwing them in that big portal.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to roll my sleeves up and just start. I'm going to go for the heaviest looking bodies first.
Yeah, no worries. While you're doing that, we'll move on to the other individuals. So, where are we? The gate behind the ruin. Octavius, you're pulled from your chamber and moved to here. And Goplana, because I have an idea of what you're about to do. All got plans for doing.
I just want to point out, every time I've had a plan in this campaign, it has gone horrendously wrong.
No.
Moral of the story is to never have a plan for anything.
You're taken to. Oh shit! I haven't thingied it. Let me put you there for a minute. I made that way bigger than I thought.
I was doing better alone.
You're moved to an area. You're actually led up the stairs.
Okay. As I go, I want to take note of every doorway, every place that there is, if there's anything inside the rooms.
So there's no rooms per se other than the ones that everyone's kind of been in so far. leading up the stairs, you're led to a much. I might have to make your token a bit bigger because I think I made the map too big. So let me just do that a sec, quick, and then I will move you to there. Where are we? Llama. No, not this one. That one. So you should see this room.
Where the fuck am I? Okay.
So I'll explain in a minute, and then let me move the others. Summer and Clarence. So Summer, you are led to the mine. Up here to here. Where are we? And I haven't got a room set up for you yet because I wasn't expecting this, Clarence, but I will explain the room you're led to. The one opens the gate to you and is like, well, he'll either eat you or eat what you're feeding him. Let's go. And pulls you to a room. Goes through a chamber just sort of past where the dining area is, and like it's almost like a very thin alleyway leads to another room, and you see in there laying still Eben on the floor and a very cowling looking kegger, both chained to the wall. There is one very frail looking orc in here that seems to be like trying to tame Kegger. And there is also 2 sleeping displacers in this room. So first of all, we'll start off with Octavius. They lead you to where the ruin is, and you see, as described before, a very distinctive stone shape in the middle, a illuminated magical archway that stands in front of a very heavy set door. The orc that's there says, "Move the stone." Oh, this place bores me. And he kind of... Oh, no he doesn't. He does, but I can't seem to do it. Why can't I tick on you? It must be on a different layer. He kind of moves around and kind of slumps himself against this pillar and decides to chill
out. When he said move the stone, did he point towards this stone?
No, he just move the stones, like all the rubble and dirt that you can see surrounding this, like that may be either hiding or covering stuff over. It seems that that's what they were moving. The stone in the middle is clearly far too big for you to move.
That's why I wondered. Okay, I will begin moving the rubble and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I get close to the archway, I want to look at it, investigate it, see if there's any writing on it. Same with the giant boulder thing.
That's an Arcana check then, please. But P.S. None of you have exhaustion now, as you've had a full rest, so you can remove your point of exhaustion if you haven't done so already. So these stones, the archway seems to be like a protective barrier where wizards usually place these to either stop people from barricading or trying to breach certain areas that they want to try and keep secret. And alongside this, usually there are methods to unlock it in an event that it needs unlocking. But this is usually quite a heavy feat to be able to do so. The stone in the middle does have a series of elemental symbols. As you start to glaze over and investigate this further, you hear that same echoey whisper in your mind, like that seems to echo around this room, but the guard doesn't seem to react. You hear a challenge. I think this one wants power. His book is missing.
And I can't discern any sort of source from it. It's just
kind of just seems to be
everywhere
like, yeah. Like you kind of turn your head to like see if you can hear it come from a particular area, but when you do so, it kind of almost seems like it shifts around the room.
And the elements were just simple fire, water, earth, and air.
Indeed.
Okay, yeah, no, that's all. I'll just continue on working.
Okay. Summer, you find yourself in the mine. You are chained up with a group of halflings that are looking at you very peculiar, as you're the only tiefling here, and it's probably been a very long time, if at all, that they've seen tiefling.
Yeah, I'll like hiss a little bit at him to get him to stop staring at me.
Yeah. It seems again only one of the individuals here has a pickaxe and is working. The other two seem to be moving stone.
And just look around the room.
Yeah.
See what's happening.
Same story, pretty much all over.
No, that's not going to work. Never mind, I'll just start shifting some stone then.
Okay. As you begin to start, one of them goes...
What was that? I'm going to... Death stare.
You're not half as scary as these guys are. Drop the hard girl act. You're new.
I might be in chains, but I'm sure I could still put you on your ass. If you talk to me like that again.
Look, you're angry at the wrong people. Newcomers mean that there's strength, fresh blood. We're all weak here. You being here could bring hope. That is, unless you're a coward.
Their first mistake was catching my cat. Now, when I figure out how to get these chains off, I will slaughter every single orc slaver that I see. And if you get in my way, I'll kill you and all.
If you think you can take all of them on, you're either stupid or extremely stupid. I'm guessing the latter.
You cunt.
Either way, there's only one way you can get out of here, and that's by killing their leader. And I'm sorry, but your skin is not their skin.
What was that? You cut out a lot.
Sorry. So the only way of getting out here is killing their leader. And your skin isn't their skin.
When he says that, she's gonna wink and cast disguise self on herself to make her look like an orc, but only for like a second.
Okay. Kind of acknowledges and says, cheap parlour tricks won't help you here.
This guy's such a fucking downer.
Are you friends with that? The half-orc? The one that the others are talking about?
Who are they talking about?
Do you know him or not? You're the only new people that we know of.
Well, I was brought in with a half-orc, yes.
He might be able to. If he's brave enough.
I'll be sure to let him know.
You better hope that if he does, he's strong enough. The weak do not survive.
Well, he has a big thirst for blood nowadays, so I'm sure he'll manage just fine.
It'll only be a doorway out. You won't get them to step down, but they won't want to attack him if he succeeds.
Why not?
Call it an unwritten code. Any orc is allowed to challenge the leader, half-breed or not. And if they succeed, well, that means that they'll be fighting amongst themselves for the leader.
Haha, that is.
And he kind of
realizes
he's been talking too loud, and you hear like some of the guardsmen shuffle, and he kind of skitters and begins working again. The last thing he says is, if he succeeds, you need to get us all out of here.
I'm sure he'll be up for a challenge.
And then we have Koplana.
Ew.
Guardsman brings you up here and says, the stuff we have of yours is up here. You can tell us what it does.
Okay. Sure. Happy to oblige.
And he kind of pushes you. You walk past a room with the door partially ajar, and you can see Thorduk inside this chamber, and he's kind of pacing a little bit. And you can hear, you can't see anything, no shadows or anything else beyond that point, but you can hear another voice, similar, familiar voice that you recognize as Jack's, and it seems to be echoing as if it's coming from a source. And you hear, when will the gate be done? I'm sick of waiting around. For God's sake. Well, it'll give me time to break him. Yes, I know. Well, it won't be long before the Crawling King is freed. All I have to do is break his tiefling mind. Yes, I know. I fooled him long enough. I'd just like to toy with him a little bit longer. And that's all you hear as you pass.
Cool.
You're led to this room. Blah, blah, blah. And there are a series of items, some of which are yours. Well, most of which are yours, and some look like they're not. But it is like a catalogue of what was in your bag, so to speak. Weapons, items, all sorts. You are still restricted. You are still chained, and the guardsman has not let you fully enter the room, and you are kept at a distance away from these tables.
Okay.
He then says, "We don't know what these things do. You can tell us."
Sure.
Right. Take a good look. I'm going for a piss. And he starts to walk away. You are tied to this point. Before you do anything else, we will go to Jirak very quickly. Actually, we'll go to Clarence very quickly. Clarence, you find yourself in this almost stable-like room, if you like, for the displacers, it would seem, but at the moment is accommodating a very, if you like, scared Kegger and a very still Eben. The elder orc that's in here says, "What are you staring at? Pick up their shit. I want this place spotless. Little fuckers." And he also leaves the room.
Is it just me, Kegger, Eben, and 2 sleeping displacer beasts in here?
Indeed it is.
Can I run?
You can try. There is literally the very narrow hallway that you came in through, and a semi-heavy set wooden door that was shut behind the elder orc as he left.
I'm gonna hobble up to Kegger and Eben and just kind of hug them and nuzzle into them.
Kegger kind of like twitches, almost like a reactive, like fear reaction, like kind of backs away sharply, opens her eyes, realizes it's you, and pounces on top of you and just like nuzzle, like, you know, like cats when they're trying to like use their scent glands on like the corners of furniture and stuff. Kind of does that. She does that to you. You would notice at this point that her belly is a little swollen.
I'm gonna rub it and say, "Is that for me?"
She gives
Is
you a
that for
lick,
me?
and then she
Yeah.
kind of looks over at Eben and gives like a very sorrowing growl purr. You can see that Eben is breathing, but very, very slowly.
Can I see what's wrong with her?
You can try, yeah. You can try and do a medicine check if you like. Yeah, it would seem that her Eben's back leg is out of its socket, and it seems a part of where Eben's ribs are seems to be a little bit indented.
Could I try and pop her leg back in?
You could try, yeah. With a 13, I would say do me a performance check. Yeah, you managed to just about, and to the point where Eben actually gives out a little bit of like a.
I'll give her my hand to chew on, to kind of muffle her noise.
Yeah, it's like almost like a kitten biting, but in this case, a very large kitten.
Are the displaced beasts still asleep?
They're still asleep as far as you can tell.
And are they chained up?
No, they are not.
Oh. Do I know how to get out of the caves?
You know the route you came back in. Beyond that, no.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Is there any food for them?
Doesn't seem to be in this room yet. No.
Is Eben, are they beasts? Or Eben, McKegger's a beast? But Eben's a monstrosity, isn't she?
That's right.
Would she kind of understand me if I spoke to her because she's been around us for so long?
I mean,
as much as a cat would understand me if I talked to her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Summer and Eben have had the sort of relationship where, like, an owner talks to their animal like it's a person. So you kind of would expect that perhaps Eben has an understanding of what's being said, but only as far as an animal would.
I am going to explain everything to them.
So you spend the next few hour or so.
I'm just going to sit down, cross my legs, and just talk to them.
It's been such a long day, and you
I know.
wouldn't believe what's going on. Like,
so yesterday, I had to feed people water, but they wouldn't do it. So I punched some dude and knocked his jaw off. And then we slept. Everyone's all right. Summer's still moody. Jirak's still brave. Just kind of talk about everyone.
Yep, wonderful.
Until the orc comes back.
Okay, I will leave that there then. Jirak, as you are moving the bodies, you hear like a swirling, like vortex type of noise as an individual emerges from the Silver Gate. A hooded figure about your height, large sword to the side, large axe to the other, and on this figure's shoulder is like a solid I'm going to say corporeal, but it's probably the wrong word, non-translucent, like ethereal beast, and slumps it onto the ground and looks at the other guard and says, "Food for the slaves." Walks past you, stops.
Just like stop dragging and let's essentially square up. Arms at my side. I don't know if they're taller than me, but I am trying to look, not puff my chest out like posture, but just make it pointedly obvious that I'm stopping work and staring at them as they walk past.
There's a strange, like, essence in the air, almost like a cologne, if you like. It kind of reminds you of home. And as the figure turns his hood to face you. He's almost like side on to you. Kind of tilts his head to look at you. And it's your father. He doesn't acknowledge you.
I try my best to not change my facial expression at all.
Doesn't acknowledge you, other than the fact to look at you. And then carries on walking through the chamber.
I stay in like the exact position and looking like as if I was looking him dead in the eyes, but he's just like long gone, just staring at the wall behind him for like a solid 5 minutes.
Yep. I think, given that you are all placed in areas that you probably have a lot of ideas that you want to do, this may be a place to stop for today. And with that, I will end the session.